9440. 4405. 944405.
All right, welcome back to Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place for all of us by helping us lock up some of the bad guys. I'm Chris Wright. I hope to never be on that list. Matthew Wade, Chief Deputy for the Sheriff's Office here in Calhoun County. Good to see you, Matthew.
Hey, glad to be back for another week, Chris. You know, every week we've been doing this, I think we was talking before the show, 11 and a half years. In 11 and a half years, we've never had a single week where our viewers didn't help us out with their tips that led to an arrest. We've never gone a week that we didn't have an arrest. And this week we're a little slow. We got 2 arrests this week, but once again, it's only 2, but in 11 and a half years, you've never let us down with at least arrested 1 or more in 11 and a half years. That is awesome.
Absolutely amazing. 3,474 the total now, so thank you very much. We appreciate you tuning in every week and telling your friends to watch this program as well, and watching the videos that we have out on Facebook and going to the website. You can see this show. If you ever miss it, you can always see it on demand at tv24.tv. Real quick before we get into the meat of the show, Matthew, I want to talk about something. This has been an issue for a little while now, but it just seems like the month of August, thank God it's behind us, because the month of August was a deadly month for peace officers in this country.
Absolutely. I think there was 8 officers killed in the line of duty in August, not to mention there was numerous others that were attacked, shot, and survived. You know, in our country for the past year or so has just been divided. It's been division. The media is portraying law enforcement officers to be mean, to want to hurt people, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. A lot of times I think citizens doesn't see us as human beings that are fathers, mothers, that have children, that go to ball games, that help their children with their homework at night. And I think citizens think we're always in control and we always win every encounter. When the truth of the matter is law enforcement officers would like to go through their day where they don't have an encounter of conflict, where they have to be put in danger with force. We don't always win. So when we walk up to a car, somebody says, well, he come up and bullied me. Well, from the officer's perspective is we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if they're armed, and we're worried about our safety. You know, the division just needs to end. You know, our country's motto is united we stand. You know, and we need to work on that.
The rhetoric has to stop. The divisiveness has to stop. We've got to come together. We've got to recognize that, yes, there have been some bad cases involving police officers doing things that they shouldn't have done. Yes, there have been some really bad cases where people have attacked police officers for absolutely no reason. We've got to end both of those, and we've got to come together.
Absolutely. We need to come together. Law enforcement's a tough job, and I know citizens don't necessarily want to hear that. They want everything to be perfect, but when you deal with human beings on law enforcement and the citizen side, we're humans. We all make mistakes. When you're in a life and death situation and things are happening, decisions are made very quickly. It's easy for the news media to come back and pick it apart on either side for months at a time and to have an agenda for whatever reason. You know, our country's justice system isn't perfect, but it's much better than any other place in this world. And there's no other place I want to live, and there's no other place in the world I think you can get a better shake at your hand if you're accused of something than in America.
Let me just say this. If you've got a problem with the police officers, have a conversation, okay? Let's start there, not with violence. Have a conversation and see where we can go with that. All right, that's what we're doing on the show. We're having a conversation. We need to take a break from that. We will come back and we'll have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, Jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
The Ford brand has always brought you impressive style and legendary quality, and Sonny King Ford brings you the lowest price and the largest inventory, new or pre-owned. The new 2015 F-150 gets the best gas mileage of any truck without giving up its powerful towing capacity. The iconic new 2015 Mustang, with its classic pony car looks and hunkered down stance, preserves a legacy that defines American motoring. For over 93 years, Sonny King Ford, for the best cars and best price.
Hi, I'm Katina Houston Stroud with Family Links, and this is the Family Tip of the Week. I've discovered that we all have experienced failures and setbacks at some point. In any arena or industry or area of life, the difference between the champions, the ones who succeed, and everyone else is how they respond to the setbacks. You too can bounce back from your setbacks, and the following tips will help with that. The first thing you need to bounce back from your setback is the right aim. When I refer to aim, I mean a vision. A vision helps to keep your setbacks in the right perspective. Noted author and speaker Dr. Gene Mims said it best when he said, "When you have a vision, circumstances will arise, but when you have no vision, you are ruled by your circumstances." It's not enough to merely have a vision. The vision should be in writing. Did you know that 97% of the population is without a written vision or goals? Having the vision in writing would put you in the top 3% of the population. The second thing that you need to bounce back from your setback is the right attention. By attention, I mean that your attention should be on the process of practice and preparation. The Olympic gold medalist does not win the medal at the games. The medal was really won during his time in isolation when he was practicing. And we can do the same. If we have a setback, we can take a step back and improve our preparation and practice process and make a comeback. The third and final thing that you need is the right attitude. Winston Churchill said it best when he defined success as the ability to go from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. If you have the right aim and the right attention, you recognize that each setback is bringing you closer to your goal. Did you know that prior to becoming the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln was demoted in the military, lost his fiancée to a sudden illness, had a failed business, ran for a seat in the U.S. Senate and the U.S. Congress, and lost both times? What never changed was his attitude. He had the attitude to succeed. In addition to the right aim and attention, he had to have the right attitude to overcome all of those setbacks. So remember, we will all experience loss or setbacks. If you have the right aim, the right attention, and the right attitude, you too can bounce back and succeed. For more tips like this, please call Family Links at 256-820-5911.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up this week, Jabril Clark. Mr. Clark, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana first, resisting arrest, and obstruction of governmental operations. And take a look at Glenn Keener. Mr. Keener, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for probation violation on unlawful manufacture of a controlled substance. And meet Holly Pace. Miss Pace, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for fraudulent use of a credit card, theft of property second, and probation violation for obstruction of justice by using a false ID. And this is Franklin McCormick. Mr. McCormick, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on unlawful manufacture of a controlled substance. And meet Juan Ruiz. Mr. Ruiz, last known to be living in Albertville, he's wanted on probation revocation for trafficking cocaine. And this is Brenton Thompson. Mr. Thompson, last known to be living in Piedmont, he's wanted for probation violation on fraudulent use of a credit card ×2. And last up in the first half of our lineup, James Fair. Mr. Fair, last known to be living in Wellington, he's wanted for failure to appear on domestic violence strangulation. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
More bad guys coming up in just a few minutes, but you know, Matthew, we always like to talk to some good guys as well.
Good guys is what we look for each and every day.
All right, and joining us on the set now, Anniston Mayor Vaughn Stewart. Good to see you, Vaughn.
Thank you, Chris. Good to be here.
And Katina Houston from Family Links. You see her on the program every week giving us some great advice for how to keep our families happy and safe. And you're going to be joining us on a regular basis here for some of the discussion now so we can get some more viewpoints on the show, and I think that's great.
Yeah, and I have to not correct you, but just go ahead and put in that it's not just Katina Houston anymore, it's Katina Houston Stroud.
I'm sorry, old habits die hard. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm sure your husband would appreciate the proper last name to make sure everybody knows you're off the market.
Because I really did try to cling to just Katina Houston, and it was not allowed, so yes. Yeah.
Well, as famous as you are, you know, it's hard to change.
I don't know about famous, but
Mayor, let's talk about the city of Anniston.
Anniston is doing well, thank you. We've had a tremendous 3 years. We've got one more year in this cycle, a good council working together, and it's just refreshing to be able to work with the County Commission, the McClellan Development Authority, the different law enforcement agencies, the Sheriff's Department, the other municipalities. It seems like there's a real team effort going on and has been going on. That
One
has
city,
not
one vision.
One city, one vision evaporates the whole community. And when you go to Glen Addy for their 75th anniversary of the Glen Addy homes, and 500 people show up, you know, that tells you there's hope. There's hope alive there in the housing communities. And I take no credit for that. That's Sonny McMahon and the Anniston Housing Authority. We've got some real good leaders in places now that we have not always had. It's all about leadership. But when you've got Sonny doing his good works over at the Anniston Housing Authority, bringing that group together, we've got the West Anniston Plan that we partnered with the city school system and the Housing Authority. There's a glimmer of hope for that devastated area that environmentally was just torn apart.
Now let's talk about something you maybe can take some credit for, okay? You had 3 focus areas as a council that you wanted to address. You've had 3 years working on that. Where are we on those focus areas?
Well, economic development, public safety, and education were our 3 key focus areas from day one. We called it safe streets, strong schools, and steady jobs. And I'm happy to announce that we've had phenomenal expansion here in local industry in the Anniston and Calhoun County area in the past 3 years. And any time a mayor or a council member can spend time with local industry, it more than triples and quadruples the payback, because 80% of your local jobs in expansion are created by local industries. So, you know, yes, we do want to recruit new industries coming in, but we've got to pay attention to our local industries, our neighbors, the folks that are here. And we've seen expansions due to that. The council, our first year down there, we picked one industrial park that we wanted to be the signature industrial park for Calhoun County. And we got the other municipalities and the county commission to jump in there with us, and that was the Pappy Dunn Park out at McClellan, because we knew that McClellan was the economic engine for this area. And since then, IAC has expanded 350 new jobs at McClellan, and that they're filling as we speak today.
And if you just look at the raw numbers, you don't always see that progress. You see things like, well, the incinerator closed down. That's nothing we could ever, we wanted that thing to close.
Right, yeah.
But some jobs went with it.
Well, a large component of the population did. And, you know, but you've got to realize a lot of that is trending with the national defense budget and this and that, with the depot. I mean, you know, through the good works of the Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce and Congressman Rogers and our 2 U.S. senators, we have maintained jobs there, and we look forward to the next BRAC hearing. We feel like we're going to pick up jobs instead of lose them. And so that's a good position to be in. The Center for Domestic Preparedness, no one in this community realizes how important they are. They are now up to being like the 2nd largest employer in the city of Anniston. And they just keep growing and growing and growing, and they're known nationwide. And so that's a real asset for ours. And training law enforcement that are coming in and out of here.
And Matthew, I'm sure you see some of the law enforcement that come in for that, and then what impression are they getting of our community?
Well, we travel all over the nation dealing with sheriffs on a national level, and everywhere we go, that's one of the things we say, we're from Anniston, where CDP is, and everybody in law enforcement has sent people to the Center for Domestic Preparedness, and they know where that's at. So
if they haven't been here, they want to come, don't they?
They're on the list one way or the other. And you know, one thing we do have to fight with them is we get really good employees in law enforcement. They pay very well, and a lot of our people go to them, and that's good. You know, if we got highly educated and highly trained people that they can better themselves, but they are a good employer.
All right. Well, we need to take a quick break. We've got a lot still to talk about. We will come back in just a few moments here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
a crackhead,
drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch
like me.
I once was
homeless,
broken, sad,
just lost. But now I am sober,
happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Your word is rigmarole.
Can you define it?
A long, complicated, and annoying process.
Can you use it in a sentence?
The last time I tried to buy a car, I just got a big load of rigmarole.
Well, you should have gone to Jacksonville Auto Sales.
Jacksonville Auto Sales across from Walmart in Jacksonville, or find us on the web at jascars.com. Remember, Jacksonville Auto Sales, home of the no rigmarole deal.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
The Ford brand has always brought you impressive style and legendary quality, and Sonny King Ford brings you the lowest price and the largest inventory, new or pre-owned. The new 2015 F-150 gets the best gas mileage of any truck without giving up its powerful towing capacity. The iconic new 2015 Mustang, with its classic pony car looks and hunkered down stance, preserves a legacy that defines American motoring. For over 93 years, Sonny King Ford, for the best cars and best price.
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Narciso Avendano. Mr. Avendano, last known to be living in Huntsville. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a forged instrument second. And this is Jermaine Berry. Mr. Berry, last known to be living in Talladega. He's wanted for failure to appear on writing lots of bad checks. And meet Benjamin Pearson. Mr. Pearson, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on obstruction of governmental operation. And take a look at Richard Gann. Mr. Gann, last known to be living in East Aboga. He's wanted for failure to pay on child support, the face of a deadbeat dad. And have a look at Jonathan Ramirez. Mr. Ramirez, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for harassing communication ×2. And meet Dawn Moxham. Miss Moxham, last known to be living in Oxford. She's wanted for writing multiple worthless checks. And last up in our lineup this week, Peyton Harris. Miss Harris, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for failure to appear on prescription drugs and illegal possession thereof. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you know the whereabouts of any of these people, please give Crime Stoppers a call at 256-238-1414.
I'll have some more crime fighting to do here in just a few minutes. The Crime Stoppers segment of the show coming up, also our crazy criminal. But Matthew, right now we're talking about the city of Anniston with the mayor.
And, you know, the mayor's done a wonderful job, and I have to speak volumes for his chief of police, Shane Denham. He's very good to work with, a good, solid Christian man, and we work with him closely and have much respect for him. So.
I'm very proud of both our police department and fire department. I don't think we could have two better chiefs than Shane Denham at the police department and Tony over at the fire department. They just do wonderful work. I'm so proud of Tony's new fire station he's building out on 21, and the fire college. We're going to have that right here in Anniston so firefighters can come and train right here rather than having to go to Tuscaloosa. And so we'll have a big reach in North Alabama with people coming here for their training. So that's very important.
Well, you know, and already the largest law enforcement academy is on Fort McClellan, run through JSU. So officers come from across the state to JSU to be trained here in Calhoun County. It's another economic benefit that we have. We are the training ground for law enforcement officers in the state of Alabama. People didn't know that.
I tell you one thing we've added just this year, and again, it's the fire department it's got a new curriculum. They're offering new class at Anniston High School in fire training. So we're trying to start our own feeder system.
And that gets us into the education.
Exactly.
We haven't talked about that yet, and Katina, I know that's a big area for you.
It is. Well, currently with the situation with the budget, which we were speaking about earlier behind the cameras, we are at this time waiting to hear what's going to happen with the Department of Youth Services funds that we receive for our agency. The Success Academy is funded by a DYS grant, and if we, are not going to hear about those funds or don't receive those funds, it greatly impacts the education that the kids that are referred to our program receive, whether or not there will even be a Success Academy.
Well, I tell you, education and youth development, and that's really what you're in family and youth development, but I mean, they're married together. And you've got to be proactive. You've got to get to these kids early and break that cycle of poverty. I'm still a big believer that education is the pathway to the middle class, and it's the great equalizer. And it can solve so many issues as far as high crime and more steady jobs, because you have a more trained workforce. Workforce development, I could talk a day about it. I'll be in Montgomery talking to Ed Castile on Friday, and we've had Ed come up. He's the director of the AIDT, and he's Mr. Workforce Development person in the state of Alabama. But when you deal with workforce development, you're dealing with schools, because you're dealing with career tech. In career tech, when you've got all the automobile industry, manufacturing plants as we do in the state of Alabama, career tech is huge. And getting these kids trained so when they do graduate, they can get a certificate in one hand from a career tech school such as Gadsden State, and in the left hand a diploma. That's called dual enrollment. And it's very important that we make that a seamless transition between high school in the 2-year program. Now that doesn't
take the 4-year program.
Yeah,
now my wife is in charge of dual enrollment at JSU, so
let's
don't forget them. They're doing some great work with Anniston High School.
Yeah, I know they are, and we appreciate that. But this is an area that needed some attention, the career tech.
Absolutely.
And the 4-year, that I think is really on a great path already. But we've got to, when we are talking to employers and they're saying that workforce is not trained, they're not ready. And that's not just City of Anniston, that's statewide. We've got to, and we're working with the governor's office in this Region 5 that's been created for workforce development. But it's a huge thing.
I wish this was an hour-long show, because we could talk to you for at least that long. Yeah. We've got about 2 minutes left. What have we not talked about that we need to address?
Okay, well, let me give another shout out to Shane Denham, because we have had a downward trend as far as crime for the past 2 years. And I think that's the police department waking up every day, working, putting the best strategic actions into place. I think that's the team effort that they have with the Sheriff's Department and the other municipalities. I've never seen that team, the greater Calhoun County team, work as close as they do together today.
If you look at it honestly, to me, you may disagree with this, Matthew, you may, I think that there was potential for Anniston to be in a real world of hurt. We've had a lot of communities in this country that have really gone through a bad time, and we've certainly had some issues here, but I think we have moved forward in the last couple of years. Do you feel that way?
Yes, I think we have.
Yeah, I mean, demographically, we have a lot of poor folks in Anniston. Piedmont's got a lot of poor folks in Piedmont. Now, you look at what Matt Aiken has done with their school system. Okay, so don't tell me poor folks can't learn, that they can't succeed, that we can't get them out of that poverty cycle. But back to just being proactive. We set up a Citizens Advisory Council for the APD, for the police department. So basically the police are talking to citizens across the table that may have a gripe and not across a picket line. And that's so important that you're proactive and that you have this network already established. And hopefully, you know, we'll miss some of those bullets that have been going on all around the country. And I'm not speaking literally bullets, but I'm just talking about protests and hostilities. And because the police departments reached out to the community.
All right, well, Mayor, thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
taking some time with
Chris.
us.
Thank you very much, Matthew.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
And
Thank you so much.
All right,
your work continues at least for another year and then maybe another 4?
Yeah, that's kind of the plan.
All right, we hope so. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show and your crazy criminal of the week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, Jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
Your word is rigmarole.
Can you define it?
A long, complicated, and annoying process.
Can you use it in a sentence?
The last time I tried to buy a car, I just got a big load of rigmarole.
Well, you should have gone to Jacksonville Auto Sales.
Jacksonville Auto Sales across from Walmart in Jacksonville, or find us on the web at jascars.com. Remember, Jacksonville Auto Sales, home of the no rigmarole deal.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead, drug addict,
Alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch.
like me.
I once was.
Homeless,
Broken. Sad.
just lost.
but now I am sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show. We need your help on these 2 cases. First up, on August 29th, this residence on Old Piedmont Gadsden Highway in Piedmont was broken into. They got away with furniture and household items. And your last case, between August 16th and August 25th, a Husqvarna weed eater was stolen from this residence on Lillian Lane in Anniston. And that is it for your caseload this week. If you have any information on these cases, please give Crime Stoppers a call at 238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
All right, our crazy criminal this week, you know, sometimes people, the tennis shoes out there, you have to pay an arm and a leg for them these days, right?
Absolutely.
The popular ones.
Yeah.
How about a kidney? Would you pay a kidney for a pair of tennis shoes?
I don't think so.
We've got a guy up in Michigan that's got a pair of the Kanye West Yeezys or something. I have no idea. But I know they're expensive shoes. He's got 2 failing kidneys, so he's offered up his Yeezy shoes for a new kidney.
Wow.
Now this makes him the crazy criminal because, you know, it is illegal to exchange any goods or services for a human organ in this country.
Wow.
So
Didn't know that.
I didn't either.
if he gets that kidney and he gives him the shoes, you're gonna have to go. Well, he's out of your jurisdiction, but somebody's gonna have to go lock him
Hey,
up.
I wouldn't arrest him. I mean, he got a kidney, at least he'll be alive in jail, I guess. I don't know.
He's actually had lots of people respond to his message. I don't know if anybody will actually go through with it, and if they do, would they actually want the shoes?
I think there's just a lot of good people that would probably give him a kidney, you know, just for the sake of being a good person.
Right.
You know, the shoe thing just made it interesting, I guess.
I would hope so, but I bet you've met some people who have done some really bad things for shoes.
I've seen some people steal some.
Yeah.
You know, we had a spur here in Calhoun County where they steal one shoe.
Goodness.
At the schools, they'd steal one shoe and leave the other one. I think it was just for meanness. I don't know. Side story. You got me off track. I don't know.
Well, we got a one-legged bandit.
One-legged bandit. I don't know.
With good shoes.
My son's only 7 years old, and the only thing he requests is shoes. He doesn't care if I get his clothes from a junkyard, but his shoes have to be.
Got to be the shoes.
They're most expensive.
All right. That's all the time that we have for this week. We thank you for joining us. We'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.